Go ahead.
Who says this? How do you say this is upsetting the constitutional balance? Absolutely, this is a canard. This is a facade. This is misleading people. But I want to say, look, even certain chief ministers are not under their own lokayuks. Listen, this is what let me complete, Mr. Salve. Maharashtra chief minister is not even under lokayuk. UP is not even under lokayuk. Rajasthan is not in lokayuk. Assam, Bihar are not even lokayuk. Who are they coming under? They don't come under Lokpal. They don't come under lokayuk. So they are free. What do they do? I'm saying, are we looking at these serious issues? I think a common man's corruption. The present Lokpal bill has divided the services into two. How can you divide services into two? Corruption begins from the top to bottom. And a common man deals with the bottom, and the corporate deals with the bottom. How can you divide the wedge?
I would like to make the point. Abhishek Manu Singhvi had made the point that it is his government which came in with the Lokpal bill.
Just very quickly, Ms. Bedi, and then I'll take Mr. T.S. Subramanian. Very quickly, Ms. Bedi.
Yeah, sure. I think let us complete before. I know they're more senior people than us. But I think we have at least let us close the argument before they step in. Just because they are in the studio, they cannot shout us out.
No, go ahead, ma'am.
So what I'm trying to say that the common man's corruption is not a factor at all in the Sarkari Lokpal. When 95% have been reportedly complaining against corruption in the latest report of India Against Corruption 2010 by the Center for Media Studies. 95% villagers have said we could get nothing. Water irrigation, school, hospitals.
The Sarkari Lokpal doesn't address the common man's corruption. Let's face it. This movement has put pressure on the government. It has put pressure on the establishment. Therefore, it is positive.
For the last 50 years, this government has avoided coming into having a Lokpal. Now, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, my good friend, says that government has responded now. No, only under pressure. If the two movements had not taken place, if the media had not come in, next 50 years we would. It's another question what the Lokpal will do. But next 50 years we would not have had the Lokpal. Then two other short points now. There is a transactional corruption, collusive corruption. There are 3 crore government servants. You have one Lokpal sitting in Delhi supervising the corruption of 3 crore people. This is the surest way that you're going to immobilize him to see nothing happens. Nobody suggests the importance of Lokpal is, till now, it has been a one-way street in corruption. Government, state and centre had not taken any steps whatever to stem it, to stop it, to dam it. Today, Lokpal is the first major symbol. It is not the end. When the Lokpal comes, we need to have systems for transacting corruption.
And I think we made a beginning. The point is, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, that every time we say...
important cornerstone beginning to signal to the India, and look at the numbers here. The fight is starting, and the first flag is Lokpal.
You know, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, every time you say the word corruption in the past to a politician, his eyes kind of glaze over, you know, and he gets bored because it's a problem that everybody knows is a problem but can't deal with. Now a beginning has been made. Whether you like it or not, you can call them unelected, you can call them a blackmailing constitutional process, but the fact is they have forced you to act. That in itself is valuable, and there is support for them. Our poll is showing massive support for the street protests.
Oh yes. Sagarika, I find it very strange that when you have something concrete, virtuous, desirable, even though incomplete, not as good as they want, but something which started, why should you keep hearkening back to, oh, it has come, it is good, it is desirable, but you never wanted to do it, somebody else made you do it.
Why are you so paranoid that this is disturbing constitution, this is upsetting democracy, it's a parallel party structure, it's a parallel structure. Why are you constantly heaping scorn on them?
Apart from the paranoia, I have found thrown at me in adjectives. Where is the paranoia in the government? If there was paranoia in the government, do you think 5 ministers of the government would have spent 2 months meeting every now and then moving a bill in parliament? Is moving a bill in parliament after 2.5 months of work paranoia? And does that signify to everybody in the studio or elsewhere that we are avoiding the bill?
Because you seem to be stalling.
At best you can say, what is stalling? I want to ask you, what is stalling? These are all adjectives which are used without thinking. You have introduced a bill as promised in the first session available. You did it within 2 months of meeting with the civil society.
Under the gun.
If you look carefully, Sagarika, the argument boils down of everyone.
But that's because you had a gun to your head.
To one
you
thing,
literally
to
had
one
a
thing,
gun to
one
your
thing,
head.
to one thing. The argument boils down to one thing.
It's taken
the
a fast
argument
under
boils down to one thing. No, the argument boils down to one thing. Unless and until you agree on the content of every clause with what civil society says, you are in the wrong. Well, to that I say,
Aren't you just scared of
this is
losing
the
your
democracy
power?
we live in.
Aren't the
Ultimately,
politicians
Parliament
scared of
is a
losing
canard.
power?
How can I,
Mr.
how can
Salve,
I
you had a
answer
point.
this question when you have a bill actively being discussed by Parliament, and you accuse, when the bill is actually ripe for coming up, you accuse politicians of not wanting to have it at all. I mean, this is absolutely contradictory.
Because it seems every step of the way that the politicians are paranoid about losing power. That's how it's appearing to the public, and that you needed a fast unto death and a gun
let me
to
tell you
your
one more
head
thing.
in order for you to enact this law. But Mr. Salve, you wanted to come in.
Let me tell you one more thing.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one thing.
Second, only one second.
Manu has a way.
Yes.
Mr.
Manu
Salve.
has a valid point. They have, for reasons which we all know, they have brought the bill in. We need now not debates in which we call a counterpoint canards, but we need to discuss issues threadbare. Should the judiciary be included or not be included? I think they should not be included. I think it will upset the constitutional balance. And if you want to call my view a canard, you can go right ahead. I think the Prime Minister should be included. But I don't think the government is spreading canards when it says that the Prime Minister should not be included. I am not convinced of the government's argument, but that is my point of view. I think let's focus now on the subject matter. The government has got there. It's got there kicking and screaming, but it has got there. Let us now focus on the issues. These are serious issues. How to deal with judicial corruption, a serious problem.
I agree entirely.
Should we have one Lokpal for the length and breadth of India? Or should we think of a better structure? And third, I repeat, electoral reform, administrative reform.
Exactly.
Electoral reform, administrative reform. Many say reform. The root of corruption is in electoral funding. But we have to go into a break, unfortunately. We'll come back and get lots more views from our panelists.